Hi, hi, my friends. I'm really glad to be here with you and that you are spending some time uh, attending to your practice and taking care of yourselves. So I hope you're doing well. I I find for myself that emotions kind of go up and down, and sometimes I feel pretty calm and my heart is open and I'm very connected and sometimes like fear rises up or anxiety, or I notice that there's a kind of a frustration or edginess, and so maybe you are also experiencing those kinds of fluctuations, and I think it's really um, normal, and I think that it's also part of how we are open to the landscape, uh, the humanity, this big picture of this extraordinary event that is unfolding in our world that we're very much a part of. And I've been thinking about that a lot, and I, I'd like to just share a few thoughts, which I think, uh, for me anyway, have helped me to deepen my sense of what this is, what is emerging, what I'm experiencing, and how to work with it. I think that more than ever, there's come into a sharper focus our profound interconnection with especially all of humanity and all of life. Um, we are experiencing the unfolding of this pandemic in real time, moment by moment, hearing about what's going on in different countries, and feeling it in ourselves. Sometimes I feel that the fear that is arising is just tuning into that collective and and being open to that, and that's okay. It's not just personal. It's not just about me. I also think, and I think that it's important to attend to that, and also to take care of that, and find ways such as, I've been sharing and other teachers have been sharing about how we can just come back to the body, come back to an awareness of the present, and recognize, yeah, in this moment, I'm okay. Or in this moment, um, maybe there's some difficulty and I can manage it. And I also think that um, I've also been reflecting on how, what's at the heart of when I do feel this fear arising, this anxiety. So what's that about? I mean, it sounds like, well, it's obvious there's a pandemic going on, but really, essentially, what is the fear? And it seems clear to me that, for me, that the fear is my mortality. Like, yeah, I could die in this pandemic. I could be one of the people who gets it and doesn't recover. And I think that I'm not the only one feeling that. Uh, and of course, there's a lot of reassuring words that, which are true, that most people will recover. And at the same time, there's the fear that I could get this and I could not recover. And these are deep, and important and central contemplations of Buddha's practice. The Buddha himself was motivated to leave his very fortunate circumstances in which he was extremely sheltered and protected from unpleasant experiences. And he went out and he encountered aging, illness, and death. And we are being kind of blasted. There's a tidal wave of hearing about illness and death in particular. And aging, and also in the sense that the most vulnerable people are the ones who are older. Some say over 60, some say over 70. So I have been really not running away from that fear, but really turning toward it and acknowledging it. I mean, I've been practicing for many, many years, reflecting and contemplating on the inevitability of aging, illness, and death. It's central to the Buddhist path. And here it is. It's right in my face. And the heart of the insight that enables me to turn toward that and to contemplate that and to really look deeply at that and accept the truth of that teaching is practicing with the truth of impermanence, which is also at the heart of Vipassana or insight practice. The truth of impermanence. And we're also, another thing that, that I mentioned, but I'll repeat, that's very much kind of right there in our face, is the truth of our interdependence. So we are so connected, and we are so not in control. The ways that we've structured our life and the ways that we have set up, how we can be comfortable and how we can take care of ourselves. And, these are all kind of shaken with what's going on. And so that also evokes fear. That also is really uncomfortable. So it's really important that we do practice. There are two main streams in Vipassana, in the insight practice. There are two main streams, and one is the samatha, or the calming practice, and we've been talking a lot about that, myself and other teachers, about how to come back and breathe and practice I'm okay right now, and just be in the body and let go of the mind racing. So that's really essential and very important. And the other stream, which they really, intertwine together, and they work together for our waking up in our lives. The other stream is the insight. And so it's the mindfulness, it's the investigation, it's the turning our attention toward our experience and discovering, well, what is this? And seeing in a very direct way these deep truths of impermanence, and that when we cling to things being in a particular way, or our idea of how things should be, that that causes us stress, dukkha. That's the Pali word, which covers a whole range of unpleasantness from, it's all about clinging to wanting things a certain way, and then the stress that and the suffering that arises from that. And then the third is this self that we want to be in control of our lives, and then gets so shaken up when something like this happens, and we feel that shakiness. So all of that can create unease, a dis-ease in the spiritual level, not the disease of the virus, but an unease, a dis-ease. And so we can address that in our practice. So what I'd like to offer tonight is a guided body scan, and this will be a body scan which brings us into feeling into the body, becoming present in the body, and seeing the impermanent nature of the body, and finding some quality of presence, some quality of stability as we attend to the sensations, the energies, the emotions that come and go, and bringing into this a sense of gratitude for this body, because I think that's also can be a little, I don't want to say destabilizing, that's the word that's coming, but it can shake us up a little when this body that we depend on, that we identify with, I mean, it's really not a self. It's not mine. It's constructed. It's dependent. It needs all kinds of things. It's for it to stay alive: food, water, air, sunshine, and so on. So it's not a self, and yet we find our home in the body, and we feel it as a self, and so that this body can feel under threat can be scary. So finding some way of abiding with presence, with attention, with mindfulness, in the midst of the flow of changing experience. That's what I'd like to explore, and bringing an attitude of appreciation and gratitude for the home that this body is, for the way that life meets us in the body. So I'd like you to take a posture that feels comfortable to you, and you don't need to be facing the computer. You don't need to be looking at me. You can lie down if you wish, or you can take a comfortable seated posture. It is good if the body is in alignment. So if you're lying down on your back or on your side, let your spine be straight. And if you're seated, let your spine be straight, not rounded, not twisted, or kind of slouching. So please find a posture that you feel is comfortable. I'm just getting a message from my technical coach. Okay, she wants me to move my screen so there's less empty space above my head. Okay, so here we go. There. Okay. Is that better? Okay. So, right. But you're not going to look at me anyway. So here we are. find a comfortable spot, and and if you like, you can lie down. This will be a body scan. So begin by just bringing your attention to a sense of the whole body, like becoming aware of the posture of your body. So whether you're sitting or lying down, you could be standing. Usually for a body scan, it requires more energy to stand, so it's good to be relaxed. So sitting or lying down is probably best. And get a sense of how the body is comported. I invite you to take a couple of breaths in which you're just really, in the exhale, just letting go of tension. And having a sense of just being present in the whole body. Notice if there is a particular mental state that you're carrying in the body. Maybe there is some tension or anxiety or frustration or anger or fear or some grasping, or maybe there's ease and well-being. So just notice what's there. And you don't need to change it or make it something other than it is, but giving it space to be known, to be received, to be recognized. So we're going to move through the body, and I'm going to be inviting repetitively different ways of bringing attention to the body. So the first will be just noticing if there's any tension, any holding in the body in a particular place. And then noticing what sensations are there. And then perhaps, asking, is there something being held in that place in the body, which is like an emotion or some kind of feeling tone. And then asking, and then exploring a little bit about, how we can really appreciate that part of the body. So we'll begin with the feet. So just noticing this, how your feet are feeling, and do you feel tension in your feet? It's actually a place where we can hold a lot of tension, and so just inviting the feet, and we'll work both sides of the body at the same time. So inviting the feet to just relax if you feel tension. So you can maybe with your breath connect with your feet, with each part of your feet, maybe your toes and the ball of your foot and the arches and the heels and the top of your feet. And then breathing out, relaxing your feet. And noticing What sensations are there? Like really being interested. Yeah, like maybe there's tingling, maybe there's coolness, maybe there's a kind of a soreness, an achiness, a tenderness in the joints. Maybe there's heat. Maybe there's a feeling of dampness. So, what are you feeling in your feet? And opening a heart of gratitude and appreciation for the feet, just where we are always, almost always anyway, meeting the earth. Our feet, which support our weight. It's our feet that support the whole of our weight, which keep balance, which can help us walk. And you know, whatever part of the body we're looking at, you know, there you may have some injuries, some illness, some part that is maybe missing or not functioning properly, and so that doesn't mean you're not whole. So your wholeness is found in being present and being accepting and going on and adapting, and being skillful and adept and nimble in many different ways, however your body is structured, and whatever you have or don't have in your body. And then moving on and feeling your lower legs, your ankles. The ankles are an extremely strong joint, really a very, very powerful joint. And they help us in walking and in mobility and in reaching and stretching and so on. And the lower legs, the calves, the shins, those very, very developed muscles in the calves. And just noticing, first of all, are you holding tension in that part of the body? And if you are, invite it to let go. Invite it to release, to relax. Use your breath, if that's helpful. Notice what sensations are present. Notice if there's in the ankles and the knees, do you feel any soreness in your joints? What do you feel in the muscle of your leg? What do you feel in the bone of your lower leg? Anything discernible? Or maybe there's, another feeling that we can feel is numbness or lack of feeling. So that also can be present. So just exploring that. And again, the power of the calves, the amazing construction of the knees that enable us to bend our legs, to fold our legs in cross-legged posture, that enable us to take big steps or climb or kneel down and examine something on the ground or kneel down and hug a child. So, of course, still connected to our ancestors who were four-legged or used all four limbs to climb and to walk so much more than we do. So just moving awareness into the lower leg and bringing gratitude for its strength, its adaptability, its flexibility, its brilliant design. And bringing your attention now to the thighs and also to the strength of that part of the body. The longest bone is in the thigh, is the thigh bone. And the muscles in the thighs also very powerful. So just notice if there's any tension. Are you holding any tension in your thighs? Just really bringing awareness into that part of the body. And as you feel your thighs, you could also be feeling the whole lower leg. So it doesn't have to be just kind of cutting the leg into that particular part. You can feel the whole part of the leg, but focusing a bit more on the thighs right now. Noticing what sensations are there. How do you feel alive in your thighs? How do you feel alive in your thighs? Is there a tingling? Is there soreness? Is there coolness? Does it feel contracted or expanding? What do you notice? How does that part of your body express itself through sensation? And bringing appreciation for the mobility that the whole leg gives us. The whole pairs, our pair of legs, that we can do so much to move around in our world and explore. They have the strength to carry the weight of our body and perhaps also the weight of another person, a child, or a backpack, or some heavy weight that we may be carrying. It's really the lower part of our body that supports what we carry and what we are. Now bringing your attention up to the pelvic area. So feeling the groin and the buttocks and the hips, hip joints, and the sides of the body where the hips are, and the lower abdomen, the lower back, that whole lower abdominal pelvic area. There are a lot of organs in that part of the body, organs of sexuality, organs of digestion. And because of that, we also hold emotions in that part of the body. And so, really particularly explore whether there's contraction there, maybe whether there's discomfort in your lower abdomen. Maybe you're holding some tension. Maybe you're feeling in your whole digestive process the anxiety that so many people are feeling. Just explore that. Give it space. Give it kind, appreciative space for the way that this part of the body contributes to your being alive, your maintaining life, the way it receives the information coming in from the world, and may in some way hold it for you, and give it an opportunity to let go, to release, to relax. Sometimes I meant to say this in the beginning, sometimes when we move into our bodies, we may hold a lot of judgment around the body, that it should be a particular way, that it should look a particular way, feel a particular way, be a particular way. And that is really a disconnect from our being. And so really with a lot of kindness and compassion, coming to connect with the body, and however it feels, however, whatever sensations are there, whatever emotional content may be held in the body in some way that surfaces when you connect with the body. It's okay. And you know what? If at any point it feels overwhelming, if at any point you feel like coming into this part of the body is a little too much right now, then you could just be with your hands, with your feet, with the sense of the pressure of the body sitting, with just feeling the shape of the body. And I'd like to invite now to move upward to the rest of the torso, to feeling the whole, the stomach, the midsection of the torso, the chest, the upper back, the shoulders. Just bringing your attention into the body in that way. Feeling the lungs, the heart, feel the breath. Feel the breath in the whole torso. Gratitude for the breath. Even if the breath feels perhaps a little tight, maybe there's some tension in the breath, or maybe you have some congestion. Still you're breathing. And that's to be appreciated. It's a beautiful thing. Feeling the heart. And really perhaps inviting you to to bring your attention right into the heart and notice if there's any contraction around the heart, in the heart. And that the heart is a place where we do hold a lot. And you might just breathe into the heart and let, with the exhale, just if there's tension that you're noticing, just let that go. Invite your heart to be soft, to be relaxed, to be open. The heart is very much seen as the seat of a quality of mind called chitta, the heart mind, which is really our awareness, our open awareness, the awareness that can know the coming and going of sensation, the knowing of the coming and going of emotions, and so on. So notice if there are any emotions and mental states being held in the upper body, in the chest, in any part of the body. And notice what happens as we bring this quality of accepting, kind awareness, mindfulness to the feeling, perhaps to the fear, perhaps to the thoughts, the repetitive thoughts, the cyclical thoughts going round and round. Does it open up a little bit? Maybe not 100%, maybe just a little, maybe a little shift. Notice if that's true. And when we see that, we actually touch into the truth of impermanence, because we can get lost in the fear that the fear is permanent, so that we can be afraid of fear. We can be afraid of anxiety. We can be afraid of anger, because we feel that we're caught, that we'll get caught. We won't find our way out. And so really touching into the body and feeling and recognizing how these are changing moment by moment is liberating. And bringing attention to the arms and the hands. Again, noticing if there's any tension there. And inviting the arms and the hands to relax, to release. Noticing what sensations are there. Sometimes we really feel our hands are so alive, and they're another place where we engage with our world. We touch, we discover textures, we can hold, we can embrace. And yes, we will embrace our loved ones and friends once again. Um, and and so we can also reach, and we can caress and massage, and we can give pleasure, and we can also give pain, the hands. And so really seeing the power of our hands, our arms, and how they're such expressive parts of who we are. And gratitude and appreciation for that. And bringing our attention to the whole head, the face, the skull, the throat, the neck. Feeling the whole skull and noticing if there's any feelings of tension. Allowing the face to relax. Sometimes we have a mask that we wear, whether it's a frown or a serious expression or a nice smile. We want to look pleasing for everybody, or maybe we're smiling because we want to communicate um, kindness. So that's also a possibility. But just allowing the face to become neutral right now, just relaxed, and letting the eyes close if they're not already, and feeling that there may be pressure or tension in the eyeballs. And inviting that to just release, relax. Sometimes we habitually stare even if our eyes are closed. So letting that kind of fall to the back of the skull, the pressure release, the lips to be relaxed, cheeks, the chin, the jaw, inside of the mouth. Our face is very much how we receive the world, through our eyes, through our ears, through our smell, through the taste, and of course the touch is the whole body. But we feel our skin is very sensitive on our face. We feel the touch of the breeze on the face, perhaps. Our lips are very sensitive. That's why we kiss with our lips. And so we're taking in the world, and we're also, our faces very much how we present who we feel we are and who we feel we want to present to the world. So just allowing that whole sense of, duality between I am taking in, I am presenting to, just allowing that to dissolve for at least for this moment, and just being open, alive, aware, not creating subject object, just feeling the face, sensations. And now I invite you to bring your awareness to a sense of the whole body. So having a sense of the body being a field of aliveness, a field of energy, a field of sensation, of a field of sense consciousness. Letting go, if there's still any clinging to my body, is not enough this or too much that, or somehow not wanting, not liking, not accepting the body. Inviting that to just be put aside for now, and just really having a sense of the body being open. We know that, of course, the body has a bounding of skin, but a sense of those boundaries being very soft and permeable. And the body being, very connected to all of life. Feeling the breath in the body. And noticing, just taking just another minute before we end this practice, to notice the flow, the experience of change. Perhaps noticing how emotional states that might have been there, that you might have noticed when you began the practice, are no longer so present. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're subtle. Maybe they're gone. Maybe they're still there. Maybe they've shifted. Notice any change. Very often there's change as we bring attention. Notice how the sensations change. Maybe if there was a feeling of soreness, maybe it's opened up. Maybe it's changed its location. So really this insight, this experience, this direct experience of the impermanent nature of the body, the impermanent nature of sensations, the impermanent nature of mental states, the impermanent nature of thoughts. These really help us to be with whatever it is that is arising within us, especially during this time in which we may be experiencing maybe more of a roller coaster of emotional states than we usually do. So there can be a sense of this presence, this quality of awareness that I mentioned before, the chitta, the heart mind, which is aware of the coming and going. We can cultivate a kind of steadiness of this heart mind. I just want to say another just couple of minutes of thoughts, and then I'd like to invite you, if you have any thoughts or comments, then you'll be welcome to add them. As I said before, this sense of the collective is very, very present in my awareness. There's the teaching. Some of you may have heard the teaching of the Bodhisattva, that the Bodhisattva, a Bodhisattva is a being who is motivated by compassion to practice to awaken, fully awaken, and the motivation to do this is really connected for one's own liberation and the liberation of all beings. And I find it, I find that at this time, I think we're all really in this bodhisattva practice, we can bring a deeper awareness of this. I mean, in a very physical way, it's kind of being emphasized to us so much, wash your hands for the benefit of others. Maintain, the physical separation, physical distance for the benefit of others and yourself, of course. And really be mindful not to, touch things unnecessarily, not to, cough or sneeze without covering up well, and on and on and on. You know all the drill that we've been hearing again and again and again, and getting, automated phone calls and all of this. And it's fine. I'm not criticizing it. It needs to be drummed in. We need to be reminded. It's not always kind of in a habit that we do this. So there's this in very simple way, taking care of ourselves for our own benefit and the benefit of others. And we can also take care of our heart mind, of our being, of our emotional being, of our spiritual being, of our relational being, of how we relate to our thoughts, and how we relate to our emotions, and how we relate to the news. We can take care of that and be mindful, to not take in too much toxic stuff, too much, we can become compulsive, that we're listening to too much news, and we have to notice if, is it having a kind of an effect on us, that we're losing our sense of balance. And but it's for our own benefit and the benefit of others. So really, I invite you to explore this dimension in your practice, and I'd like to invite you now, if anybody has anything that you'd like to bring forward as a question or a comment, there's the live chat. Please feel free to write something. And it can also be just anything about, how are you doing in all this, and how have you been thinking about it? How have you been reflecting on it, finding meaning? Do you find that your practice is helping? Do you find that this is really fueling your practice, deepening your dedication, your commitment to meditate every day, to be mindful in daily life? So yeah. So I'm not seeing any live chat. So maybe I'll just keep going on. Okay, so here's something. Yeah. So somebody's saying that a friend actually died of COVID-19 in Montreal, and that and they are really holding the sorrow of this with their whole body, and it's very strange. It feels perhaps really challenging. Perhaps there's a lot of pain to, and I think that that's one of the things that is so, for me, it really touches my heart. My mother is 95, and she lives in New York City, and and I'm really concerned about her. And so if she were to become infected, that I couldn't gather with my brother and sisters and other family to grieve together, and that it's it does feel, it feels strange. This person used the word strange, and so anyway, I just want to say to you that my heart is with you, and I really send you my compassion, and I know that many others do too. And to all of those who have lost somebody, who may lose somebody in the future, or who, to this disease, or who are somebody who is sick at this time, please know you're not alone in this. Even though we're isolating, we are together. And I think that is what I hope deepens and develops from this extraordinary unfolding of human history. So yeah, so somebody else also sending a blessing and compassion and care. I think we have an opportunity for something new to emerge, a clearer sense of our collective being. It's a strange way for this to come into emergence. I know that in so many ways we want life to return to normal. We want life to, we want to be able to go out and, spring is coming and soon the snow will be melted. We want to sit on the terrace and have a cup of cappuccino or whatever, tisane, un verre de vin with our friends, and we want to not think about traveling, and yet if we can in some way retain the depth, the clarity of connection that I know I'm experiencing, and many other people that I know are experiencing, if we can bring this more clearly into our shared consciousness and ask what emerges from this. How can we? It's not that of course, we want to go back to so much of what is beautiful and normal in our regular lives, and we will, and we do need to be patient, and we do need to, for all the reasons that we've expressed, be cognizant and prudent of the timing. And what can we learn? What can we build on? In what way can our heart stay connected to this deeper sense of interdependence and connection? And recognizing that, we're not in control of life. Like we are this ego, this little self that we construct, is something that is an idea. And it's not that we need to throw it out. Yeah, we experience ourselves as a particular person. I experience myself as Daryl. That's okay. But I have to know that Daryl's not a thing. Daryl's not solid. Daryl's not permanent. Daryl's something that's changing all the time. Uh, Daryl will come to an end. And can I be with that truth, the truth of the impermanence of this body, mind, being, uh, and uh, and at the same time loving and valuing the beauty and the potential that we have in this body, mind, being to wake up in this life, to be compassionate, to love, to be generous, and to support one another. So thank you for being here, being there, being present with uh, with us in this time and space, and being present with all the people who will join us and sit with this talk and this guided meditation in the future. So for all the people who are meditating, praying, opening their hearts, in some way taking in the beauty, the goodness of life, let's know that we are in communion and solidarity, and let's dedicate the goodness, the blessing of our practice and our lives to the well-being, the safety, the happiness and liberation of all beings everywhere. Bye for now.